So this is the YSI EXO V1 Multiparameter Sonde. It works in a similar way to your conventional YSIs, but it's far more engineered for longer term monitoring, telemetry and logging projects. Some of the major differences compared to your conventional meters. The construction of the probe end here is completely titanium. There's the addition of wet mateable connectors to increase reliability in the field. This particular unit, the V1, can hold 4 probes. The business end of this logger, there are 4 ports. This at the moment just has a port stopper in. If I remove this quickly. This port here, which had our port stopper in, is actually where our pH and ORP combined electrode would live. These connectors on the end here are completely wet mateable. This is for increased reliability in the field. Technically they can even be completely submerged when they're connected, and it shouldn't affect the operation at all. So I'm just going to tighten up the retaining collar. This tool actually comes with the EXO and also includes the activation for the unit itself. So if we look at the probe end here, this probe on our right hand side is the conductivity and accurate temperature. This probe is obviously our pH and ORP combined. This probe is turbidity, and this is our optical DO probe. Each probe has a backup temperature unit internal, but this one is being used as our accurate temperature, and everyone will use this probe as its reference, even though there is a backup, again, just for reliability. When it comes to pH, just this tip is replaceable. So the computing functions are done in this part of the probe, but the electrode itself is just this black tip. If you have any problems in the field, there's no need to replace the whole probe, just the tip here, and that actually makes it even more economical to change than the conventional YSI. You can see here in our turbidity probe the 2 lasers there. Optical DO has a cap on it. This lasts approximately 1 year. Each of these probes can be swapped around. There's no specific place for them to live, so if you're calibrating your unit, you can calibrate multiple probes on one unit and return them to any socket, and the device will automatically register what's in the correct port. So if we move along from our probe end, obviously this is the titanium bulkhead. Next we get to the main body of the unit where the logging is done. The only controls that we need on this unit are this little magnet here and the magnet that's on the key we looked at earlier. By touching the 2, we get a LED here that tells us it's on and the unit is logging. All of our pre-programming for that has been done with the core software on the PC. So this particular device, there's nothing particularly special about this. You can use this. You can use a normal magnet if this device is lost. Obviously, it has your probe key, and handily enough, they've even put a bottle opener on it, so you can keep it on your keyring and hopefully not lose it. If I move along to the next part, this yellow section here is the pressure sensor, which is only applicable on our units with the telemetry system. The need is because it requires a vented cable, so our standard loggers don't have this option. The next section of the device is the battery storage. This can actually be done by hand, but they also include this spanner for removing it. Inside here lives two batteries. They have a life of approximately 3 months. 2 size D batteries behind these rubber flaps. When these are replaced on the field, the unit will automatically continue logging after the batteries have been changed, which is pretty handy. They've also lined this housing with stainless so that if needed it can be clamped or held with tooling. keeping everything watertight in here. Once we've changed our batteries, are four O-rings, 2 here and 2 on the back. It's important that we keep these clean and slightly lubricated when we replace the cover to stop moisture ingress. So the last part of the device is the suspension hook. This can be easily changed with this O-ring. Once our cover is on, this is pretty robust. Underneath here is a screw connector. This is where we would attach our vented cable for our telemetry, or USB if PC logging is required. Again, all of the connectors here are wet mateable connectors, just like our probes have. In addition to being able to connect the device to your computer via a USB adapter on this end here, 99% of your connection can actually be done via Bluetooth, so you don't need your computer in your calibration area at all to do your calibration. The actual communication is completely wireless, and that's contained in this unit. The probes we looked at earlier, the calibration is actually stored inside the probes. So what we can do here is, if there is a problem with a probe, we could calibrate and send a probe solely to you on its own. That can be installed in your device without any calibration, and it will be reading correctly. This happens with all of the probes, again in any port. The software is also pretty good. With the calibration that's stored in this probe, it has various quality control measures, which it can print as a report after each calibration. So it will tell you if your calibration is bad or if it's out of date. Each of these are logged on to the core software.